Well, the next film, I tried to during my time at South by, Jason, I tried to sort of pick up on directors and actors that I was familiar with in a lot of cases, and especially if they had a cinema connection. I like sort of earmarked things that had a cinema connection. So I went to see the new John Sayles film.
Yeah.
John Sayles was here last year with his newest film, and we showed a bunch of his films. And I really came to appreciate what he does because I hadn't really seen much of John Sayles previously. So his new film is Go for Sisters. This is a film. And it's a John Sayles film, so it's complex.
Yeah.
It is about a parole officer, a female parole officer, and she loses her son to kidnappers. Her son is involved with moving people over the border from Mexico to America.
Human trafficking.
Yes. And then she meets her parolee, who is an old friend of hers from high school.
Okay.
And then, the film just builds and builds and snowballs and turns into like this new thing. You know, by the time you get to the end, you're like, how the heck did I get here? But so to get her son back, she enlists the help of her friend, the parolee,
Yeah.
and Edward James Olmos, who
Why
is
not?
Yeah, exactly, who is a retired detective.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of like a. You know, it's like a connect the dots puzzle. It's like we were here, and then we got to here,
Yeah.
and that took us over to here, and then that took us over to here, and that gets us to Edward James Olmos. It's like, I don't know. And then Edward James
Okay.
Olmos is in the film for the last hour or so,
Gotcha.
last 90 minutes or whatever. But it's excellent. I mean, it's excellent. It's John Sayles. Like, you're not going to walk into a John Sayles film and be like, wow, the acting was really bad, or the writing wasn't interesting, or, you know, anything like that.
It takes you on a journey.
Yes, very much so. And I won't say too much about it because it's so complex. I would just be running around in circles.
Just trying to explain the basics was a little complicated.
Exactly. But it's just really good. Lots of little character touches that you expect. You know, a lot of filmmakers would just cut that sort of thing out. There was at least 3 scenes where I was like, that could have been on the cutting room floor. Like, you don't lose anything important to the main thread by losing that, but it builds up this person as a human being.
Well, and that's one thing about his movies that I found, and I don't know if it works here, but it's like Sayles doesn't tend to embellish. It's just there.
Yeah.
Like, whereas some directors just embellish, and it's just like, okay, like, I get it. Whereas it seems like when he does it, when he sort of has these extra character things, it doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't,
Well,
it's almost as if the film is allowed to breathe.
Exactly. Well, there's this one subplot with the parolee. Like, she's trying to get her life back on track. And there's 2 scenes with this guy who used to be her drug dealer. Like, she walks by him on the street and he's like, hey, you know, come on back anytime you want. You know, I'll give you a discount, whatever. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. And then she goes away. That establishes for us that she isn't interested in drugs anymore.
Yeah.
But he has another scene where this guy actually comes back to the place where she works and tries to offer her more again, and she refuses yet again. Like, that doesn't necessarily need to be there. We've already seen that, but it was a better scene. It was a bigger scene. It was a more in-depth scene, and it gave us more to think about with that character. So, Go for Sisters. You know, it's a Sayles, so who knows where you're going to find it exactly, but it's worth seeing if you get a chance to take a look at it.
Very cool. Another movie.
A Place for Film is recorded at WFIU Studios in Bloomington, Indiana.